welcome to another Summer Road Trip podcast. This is Joel, and we've got a full car today. I'm joined by Taylor, and we've got two of our interns. We have Ryan and Hannah. Welcome to the road trip. Today, before we get going, got a great question to ask. If you're in the car, you're driving several hours, and you can only pick one road trip snack, what are you picking, Taylor?
I'm so glad that you asked. I would pick Popcorners, and I'm willing to share with all of you in this vehicle, but you must first sanitize.
Oh my goodness.
Joel, would you like some? Oh, that's not enough. That's not enough.
Trust
for
me,
those.
it is more than enough.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to drive here.
Don't try this at home.
Okay.
This is my favorite. I love a little kettle corn Popcorners, sweet and salty. It's a gluten-free snack. You got your bag? Let's go. He's got his bag. Would you like to try
sure,
one?
Yeah.
You can share with intern Hannah. Delish.
It's sweet.
Oh, it's kettle corn, sweet and salty. Isn't it a good vibe?
I like it. I like it.
All right, what about you guys? Favorite summer snack, or not road trip snack, or summer snack? I like either.
When I'm on a road trip, I like to just stop and get like a full meal. I'm not a big snacker.
Okay.
So I like to just stop and, get the full thing instead of get some snacks.
Okay,
Yeah.
favorite place to stop to get that full meal?
Probably Chick-fil-A. Classic,
Nice.
easy, quick, delicious. Can't go wrong.
Yep.
How much chewing do you think they're gonna capture on this?
Probably a lot.
All right, maybe I'll wait to keep chewing. What's your favorite?
My favorite road trip snack, if I'm stopping at a gas station, I'm gonna get some teriyaki beef jerky most of the time. So yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Joel, did you share yours last week?
Yeah, I said Twizzlers, and we talked about Buc-ee's. You can't go wrong at Buc-ee's. So,
It's true.
yeah, like
Also,
a trail mix.
I noticed that you and David have a different way of saying pecan and pecan.
Yeah.
You both said it differently. Interesting.
I think
note.
it's pecan.
I think he said pecan.
Pecan.
I think.
Yeah.
Pecan.
Okay. Well, good observation.
Thank you. I watched it. I tuned in.
So this last week we were in Acts 13, and we saw Paul and Barnabas actually leave on the journey, and as they go, they encountered three different types of people, and we saw different responses to the gospel. We met Elymas the sorcerer, Sergius Paulus the governor, and then a group of brand new believers in Pisidian Antioch. Same gospel was preached, but there were different responses. And as you look back at that chapter, was there anything that jumped out to you?
Yeah, I was actually just kind of reviewing it a little bit today, and I noticed in verse 50, it said, "But the Jews incited the God-fearing women of high standing and the leading men of the city. They stirred up persecution against Paul and Barnabas and expelled them from the region." And as I was diving into that a little bit deeper, I noticed that people can be really influenced, because it says that they were God-fearing women and the leading men of the city, but yet they were pushing these people out. And so I think it was just a good reminder to guard our hearts, because we could be really influenced by no matter what standing you have.
Yeah, that's good. We didn't really spend much time on verse 50, so that's a good insight.
What stood out to you?
Yeah, one thing that stood out to me was Elymas, this sorcerer. It's kind of this interesting character, and it was interesting that he wasn't just trying to take this personal attack against Paul. He was trying to keep someone else from hearing the truth. And it reminded me that sometimes the greatest spiritual battle isn't the one that we're doing, it's the voices that we're listening to and the people that are influencing us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we all have voices competing for our attention every day, like social media and news and friends and fear and our own insecurities. And sometimes it's really hard to differentiate what's from God. Mm-hmm. And then to remind ourselves, don't believe every thought you think. And we really do have to take every thought captive.
Yeah. So what would some of those influencing voices be in your life?
I think sometimes I let mom guilt come into play in my life, and I think I need to be everything for everyone, and I'm ruining my children, or I'm not the wife I should be, I'm not the minister I should be. And I think a lot of the times I have to remind myself those insecurities or those lies are not from God. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes something pops up on social media, or you can get doom scrolling, and it's just like, wow, like I'm not in a good headspace right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, it wouldn't be mom guilt, but it would be, I think comparison is a big one. Somebody else, that looks like they've got it all together, or this is the picture of what success looks like. And instead of being who we're called to be, we end up chasing some other person, and I can be guilty of that too.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think, the question that this text forces us to wrestle with is like, whose voice is loudest in our lives? What are we listening to the most? And that the governor, Sergius Paulus, he was influenced by Elymas. That was a voice in his life, but he had this like posture of curiosity. And I think on staff, we've got some staff core values, and we talk about being humble, and we talk about being hungry. And I think these are postures that help us listen to the voices that matter the most. And because he leaned in, he was able to encounter Jesus. And there's a question that I'd love for everyone to talk about this week. So families, if you're gathering around the dinner table, or spouses, if you're talking at night before you go to bed, or maybe you're in the car driving from place to place, just a question that I think would be great to talk about is, what voice influences you the most right now? And then is that helping you get closer to Jesus, or is it pushing you further away? And whether that's kids, whether that's parents, whether that's students, small groups, I think that's a question that would be worth asking this week.
Yeah, and I think we could even take it a step further and think about what's one way that we can intentionally listen to God this week. And so it could be reading scripture, it could be listening to worship music, it could be prayer. I know as I was thinking through this, we moved probably about a year ago. We lived with my mom for like 6 months, but there is a road that we take every single day to our house. And so we've kind of deemed that our prayer road. And so every time, if one of us forgets, one of us in the car will say, this is our prayer road, and so we will pray. But I really want to lean into like, let's listen to God on this road too, because I think we can do a lot of talking and not a lot of listening. So that's one way that I think for us and our family, we're going to intentionally listen to God this week. What about you guys? Do you have a way that you're going to intentionally listen to God this week?
Yeah, I think for me this week is just sitting in silence with God. I think that for me, I can get caught up in some of those voices, even if they're good voices, listening to good mentors or good podcasts about, faith and things that I need to grow in. But I think that it can be so easy to get caught up in that you don't actually listen to what God is saying. And so I think that just spending intentional time of just being silent and truly trying to hear what God is trying to tell me, I think is what I'm going to try to do this week.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. What about you?
And for me, I'd say diving into scripture first thing in the morning. I found myself, sometimes it's easier for me to put it off until later in the day. And I feel like just when I do that, I don't center my whole day around it. So I feel like if I can dive into it first thing in the morning and spend time in his presence, I can really set the tone for my day really well. And I can put my focus on him.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yep. I think for me, sometimes I can get into a place where I read a lot of scripture, but I'm moving through it quickly. And so just getting to a place where I slow down and just more meditating on a couple of verses, and not just reading and then moving on, but reading and pausing, and then just, God, what are you trying to tell me through this? And I think more than anything, it would just be slow down. I think I can speed up so much and just run from one thing to the next. And sometimes my spiritual life falls victim to that too, where it's just another thing that I know is important. And so I'm just kind of rushing through it instead of slowing down and really savoring those moments.
Yeah, it's wild how quickly, or how differently scripture can hit. Doesn't matter how many times you've read it, but when you sit with it and you let it speak to you.
Yep.
And you might have passed by that 1,200 times before. Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So when it says that scripture's living and active, that means that it's always relevant. It's always going to speak to the situation that you're in, and no matter how many times you've read it, it's still fresh bread. So, well, this week, I just want to remind you, Acts 13 tells us that it's the same message. What changes is how we respond to it. And so I want to thank you for joining us this week as we've been on another road trip, and we're going to continue this all summer long. This next week, we're going to be in Acts 14. The road trip continues as Paul goes to Iconium, Lystra, and Derbe. And so I hope that you will be here as we see what it looks like to be faithful in the midst of trials. And so join us on Sunday, 9:15, 10:45, and we'll be back next Wednesday to recap again and continue with another summer road trip podcast.
Love it. See you guys soon.
See you next week.